What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Dolo J, and I'm back with the Kicking It Dolo podcast. Did you miss me? I know it's been a minute, possibly about 2 months maybe. But man, I'm back. I had some stuff to take care of, man. But I'm back doing what we do. So y'all know what we do and how we do. So without further ado, let's get back into the episode. I can see the whole world sitting in my hand, amazing views. We finna break the rules, and we gon' make them too. I can't fall asleep, I gotta stand tall, that's what a leader do. Follow me, I'm leading you. Hey, we finna turn up, crank up the heat, hell, they finna burn up. Told them I'm coming, I'm here, tell them they time up. I said it once, I'ma say it again, this will be my year. I ain't gon' show no fear, I know that I'm built to equip for what God want me to do. I'm number one out the two, it don't know where I'ma lose. All right, man. Week one of college football is almost commenced. We have one more game coming on later on tonight. I'm recording this maybe 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, Monday. Um, Happy Labor Day to everybody. I hope everybody's doing all right. Appreciate everybody who has served and does serve in the armed forces. This is for y'all, man. But we're gonna talk about college football, possibly. Um, hmm. I want some NFL topics. We could do some NFL. What else? Of course, we got to talk about Fiba, what happened to Team USA, and a lot more other stuff. So we're gonna start with national champions Georgia Bulldogs beating UT Martin 48-7. Carson Beck 21-31, 294 yards and a touchdown. Brock Barris had 5 receptions, 77 yards, 3 yard touchdown rush. They did their thing. Alabama beats Middle Tennessee State 56-7. Milrow 13-18, 194, 3 touchdowns through the air, 7 carries, 48 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Jace McClendon had 10 carries for 39 yards. So yeah, man. Of course, the top two teams everybody talks about in the SEC, Georgia, Alabama, man. First week or two, a lot of teams you get the juices flowing just to, see where they stack up and see what they need to improve on. Usually against lesser competition, be it maybe a FBS school, or a lower ranked FBS school, something, that's not in the Power Five. Um, but yeah, man, it's real, real good to be back, like I said. And I don't know if I ever really covered college football on the channel, have I? I don't remember doing it to the best of my knowledge, but hey, we gotta throw a new wrinkle in here or there, just to keep the people engaged. Besides, the NFL doesn't start till next week anyway. I definitely will be watching the first Monday night game, Bills and Jets. I will be talking about that later on in the episode. But yeah. Now a dark horse who I have in the SEC, LSU ended up falling to Florida State, but I'm gonna go with Tennessee. Last year they kind of shocked everybody with their play. End up facing Georgia in the SEC championship game, and I really think they could do it again this season. Now, obviously, Alabama's gonna have something to say to that, given the fact that this is their last time, I think, in the SEC West. Given the fact that Texas and Oklahoma are going to be moving to the conference next season, I think it's the last chance to really just stamp the fact that they really just SEC West dominance and overall SEC dominance. But as I said, Georgia going for the three-peat. So it's gonna be real interesting to see. We're gonna be keeping an eye on those two teams. How does LSU bounce back? Um, Texas A&M, how do they look? South Carolina lost to North Carolina, so um, Gamecock fans are probably not too happy about that. But yeah, man, it's gonna be real interesting to see which team comes out and challenges Alabama for their spot. I mean, now in the SEC East, Georgia looks like a foregone conclusion. Um, it's gonna be real hard to see another team possibly from the East really testing them and really given the fact that Florida was possibly seen as a team, but they went down to Utah on Thursday night, so it's gonna be real interesting to see who challenged Georgia, if there is a team that challenged Georgia, and what team challenges Alabama, because everybody usually thinks that it's gonna be Georgia Alabama in the SEC championship game. You know what I'm saying? And then depending on how the college football playoffs stack up, it's probably gonna be Georgia and Alabama again, either for the championship or to go to the national championship. So it's gonna be real interesting to see how that goes. Like I said, Um, the Pac-12, man. I am a huge fan of this conference. My favorite colleges in this conference. I am an Oregon fan through and through. The reason why I am an Oregon fan, I don't know if I touched on this before in the previous episode, but basically, man, huge Nike guy, check guy. Not really much in the Jordans. Used to buy Jordans here or there, but for the most part, man, I've been a Nike guy, check mark type of guy. So I root for all collegiate sports. I root for Oregon in all collegiate sports, man. Baseball, football, hockey, lacrosse, track and field, uh, soccer. I don't know if I said soccer already. Softball. Um, so yeah, I'm not the type of guy that just roots for different colleges and different sports. Like one guy might like Kentucky in basketball, then Ohio State in football, which is nothing wrong with that. You know, you like who you like, but nah, I'd like to stick with Oregon on every collegiate sport. So that's what I'm rocking for. Even though I am, I do live in Georgia. I do hear the hype around the Bulldogs. I do see the posts on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. So, but I'm an Oregon fan, so I tend to ignore it anyway. Like I said, also Deion Sanders, man, hell of a game, hell of a game from him. Shadur Sanders, hell of a game from him. Travis Hunter, hell of a game from him. Dylan Edwards, hell of a game from him. The Colorado Buffaloes, man, beating TCU, the team that was opposed to Georgia in the national championship game, beating them 45-42. Shadur Sanders, 39-47 for 510 yards, 4 touchdowns. Colorado debut. Travis Hunter had 11 receptions for I think 119 yards. Also had an interception. Playing a total of 119 snaps, I believe. I want to say it was something like that. Um, a lot of people counted him out. A lot of people counted him out. A lot of people. Every team. And I'm gonna touch back on it. The Colorado and TCU game in a second, but every team from the Pac-12 won this week. And USC played last week. You know, they were one of the few teams to get a head start on their season, so they're 2-0. So the Pac-12 in their final season, throughout the first week and a half, if you really want to call it, 13-0. Now, a lot of people saying that the top quarterbacks are all in the West. Be it you might have Caleb Williams, the defending Heisman winner, Mike Penix Jr. from Washington, Rising. I can't remember his first name. Rising from Utah, Bo Nix. Um, just a plethora of guys. Oh, the Clemson transfer, DJ. I can't pronounce his last name. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce it. I know I'm gonna butcher that real bad. So, yeah. But just seeing the plethora of talent that the West has, and the fact that the Pac-12 is probably no longer going to be a conference after this season is just something. I don't know, man. It's definitely difficult, I would say, but at the same time, it's like if they ain't got the money for it, they don't have the money for it. So I mean, they could swallow a little bit of their pride, take a little less money, try and keep the conference together because I don't think every team in the conference has another conference they can go to. I believe it may be 2 or 3 teams that are without a conference for the most part. The major schools in the Pac-12 do have a place and will go to effective at the end of the season. But, oh man, if this is the end, who will be the champion? Like I said, Shadur Sanders set a record in his Colorado debut. Imagine setting the school record for passing yards in your first game. And then you're going against a team that, didn't do the best in the national championship game, but they still made it. Wouldn't that light a fire under you? And Deion said he had the receipts of the people who said he wouldn't win and didn't believe the hype. 83 players transferred, or 86, something like that, 83 or 86 different players. Well, they had 1 returning player, 2 returning players, 3 returning players. But when you find people who fit the system and do what they do, and put them in the right positions, when you have a guy with the NFL intellect such as Deion Sanders, man, it's very, very, Very interesting to see what they do. Like I said, my Oregon Ducks play them on the 29th of September. I think I'll be rooting for Dion for every game except that one. That'll probably be the only game I root against him. But yeah, man, hell of a job that he did coaching and putting them guys in position, made them believe. And now the kids already believe, like the players already believe, the coaching staff already believes, the fan base already believes. Now will America believe? That's the next step. And I believe, they might not win the Pac 12, but they definitely can make some noise in the Pac 12. For bias reasons, I'm hoping Oregon wins the Pac 12. But, hey, if Deion and them win the Pac 12, I can't really be upset about that. What can you really say? What can you really say? But yeah, man, who do y'all have winning the Pac-12? Y'all let me know down in the comment section below. I personally want Oregon to win, but I can also see a case where maybe either UFC, Colorado, or Washington wins as well, just given the fact of the type of quarterback play that each school has. All right, speaking of Pac-12, Utah beat Florida, like I said, on Thursday, 24-11. TCU, heck of a game. Heck of a game. To lose the game on 4th down and 2. Dylan Edwards, man. Said the guy's 5'7", 180? 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns. 5 receptions for 135 yards. That is crazy. TCU gave up 100 yards to 4 different receivers. It's very hard to win a game when you do that. So like I said, Chandler Morris, 24-42, 279, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And Imani Bailey, 14 carries for 164 yards. The Battle of Carolinas, I'm going to touch on this real fast. The 21st ranked Tar Heels beat the South Carolina Gamecocks 31-17. Drake May, 24-32, 269, 2 touchdowns. 2 ints. British Brooks. That's a heck of a name. British Brooks. 15 carries for 103 yards. Omarion Hampton. 16 carries, 37 yards. 2 touchdowns. For the Gamecocks, Spencer Rattler. 30 of 39 for 353. DeCarrion Joyner. Am I saying that right? DeCarrion Joyner. 12 carries for 23 yards. 1 touchdown. Juju McDowell. 5 carries, -1 yard, 1 touchdown. The Gamecocks, man. The Gamecocks. They have chances to win this game. Like I said, Drake May was picked off twice, but also Spencer Rattler. He didn't throw any interceptions, but it was just hard for them to move the ball. North Carolina was on. Mike Brown gets his 100th win as a Tar Heel head coach. Now, I know he was the Longhorns coach back in like 06, 07, but I don't know what happened with his wins. I don't know if they found like some type of, how they take away wins and what they take away wins for. We're not really going to get into too much of that, but yeah, man. I really expected South Carolina to be. Now, it wasn't a blowout per se. They only lost by 2 scores, 2 touchdowns, but I expected it to be more of a 7-point game, 3-point game. It's the Battle of the Carolinas to see which Carolina is better. And they were asking the players before the game which Carolina is better. Oh, North Carolina. Oh, which is the real Carolina? Oh, South Carolina. So, like, the only other place I could see fighting for state supremacy like that would be like the Dakotas. But, it's North Dakota and South Dakota, I mean, I'm pretty sure between them that, we're the better Dakota. You feel me? Unless you're, thinking about the Dakota that's in Dallas. And no, that's not a state or a city. We're talking about the quarterback. Yeah, North Carolina wins, man. Penn State, I thought they would have some trouble with West Virginia. They really didn't. 38-15. Drew Allard, 21 of 29, 325, 3 touchdowns. Nick Singleton, 13 carries, 70 yards, a touchdown. B.U. Pribula, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. 3 carries, 18 yards, 1 touchdown. And Keandre Lambert Smith, 4 receptions, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. So, like, every other time he caught the ball, it went for a touchdown. That's some real Randy Moss numbers right there. Like, when he had 3 receptions, he had, 79 yards, 3 touchdowns. Randy Moss-esque numbers right there. And like I said, Florida State beats LSU 45-24. Now, I thought this game would be a lot closer than what it was. First drive of the game, LSU, they went down there and moved the ball pretty efficiently. Jaden McDaniels was doing his thing. Got to the goal line, stood up. Then they forced a punt from FSU. Jordan Travis really didn't look too good. But that first drive, I want to say. But then LSU scored first. I want to say LSU scored first. It's kind of froggy in my mind. But yeah, I want to say LSU scored first. But then after Florida State got the ball, he moved it soundly. Jordan Travis was hitting timely throws on the money. He was making money throws, big boy throws in the end zone. Was loving it. Was definitely loving it. LSU, comes back, scores again. Florida State comes back, scores again. Then LSU gets a quick field goal right before the half. Who knew LSU would only score 7 points in the second half? The way this game was going, I thought it was going to be right down to the wire like it was last year, 1 point affair. But Florida State in that second half, boy, oh boy, they went down and got that field goal on the opening possession. And after that, it was pretty much just ball game. Jordan Travis was making all the right throws, escaping the pocket. That two-back set they had when they had Benson and Bell back there. Was it Benson and Bell? Yeah, it was Benson and Bell back there. Because Jordan Travis, like I said, he went for 23, 31, 342, 4 touchdowns, 1 inch, 7 carries, 37 yards. 38 yards, and a touchdown. Trey Benson, 12 carries, 47 yards. And then Keon Coleman, the transfer from Michigan State. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. But yeah, man, they couldn't guard that man. Like, if they had him in the game last year, they probably would have, won. Now, granted, the Florida State defense, they were bend don't break because LSU had a lot of opportunities. I believe they had 5 red zone trips, maybe 6 red zone trips, and to only come out with 24 points, that's a heck of a stand. Now, a couple of times they went for it, got stopped, like on the first possession. Like I said, Jaden McDaniels, he tried to elude a sack, like he tried to run, and then he tried to like spin and go back the other way. Was not working. The Bulls was not going for none of that. It was another 4th down they had. I'm going to say around maybe like the 40-yard line of Florida State, not going for it. Like, the Florida State defense was definitely bend don't break. That's what their motto was. Like, they might drive the ball up and down the field, but when they get inside this red zone, oh, it's nothing. It's wraps. It's on lockdown. You're going to have to work for this. You're going to have to work for this, buddy. What you going to do? Are you going to get it? Do you want it? You're going to have to take it. So I really expected the spectacle last like it was last year. But Coleman, 9 receptions, 122, 3 touchdowns. Jaden McDaniels, 22 of 37, 347, 1 touchdown, 1 inch, 15 carries, 64 yards. Now, he was running the ball spectacularly. I think it was one play where Daniels probably had like a 20-yard gain or something like that. It was like off of, I want to say it was like a quarterback draw almost, where it's like he stepped back in the pocket like he was finna drop back. Everybody was covering. He just took off. Like, he was definitely, making some plays with his legs. It's just costly drops by the receivers. Even Florida State receiver, what's his name? Travis, I want to say he dropped some passes too. I can't remember what his first name is, but I want to say his name was not Travis, but number 14, Wilson. Yeah, Wilson was dropping a lot of. He's a big guy, 6'7". He's a big guy, but he dropped a couple passes, bro, and that was just not it at all. Like, that was not it, and I did not expect him to really drop the ball, pun intended. But yeah, is it Brian Kelly? I want to say Brian Kelly, the coach of LSU, was basically saying we ain't have the team we think we did. We thought y'all was gonna have more fortitude. We thought y'all was gonna be a little bit better than what y'all were. The reads weren't good, and they had a 3-point lead at halftime. The score was 17-14 at halftime. You come out and let them boys drop 31 in the second half, and you only score 7. That running game, that 2-back set, start messing them up. The boys didn't really know what to do with that. And then Bill, they say he came from, I think they say, he transferred from South Carolina. He was blocking. He was doing a little bit of everything, blocking, running the ball. He got him a rushing and receiving touchdown. It was one play they had basically where it's like he was going on that blocks to the left, but it was almost like a real wide source, and they just left bro like wide open because he been blocking like the whole game. And then he got another rushing touchdown. So it was pretty cool to see, Florida State pouring it on basically in the second half. And the guy who's been blocking and sacrificing his yards and stuff like that all game get rewarded towards the end. So we're going to bring some NFL talk. Just a quick breeze over these things. I don't want to take too long. We're already like 21 minutes in anyway. Just college football by itself. So Bosa and 49ers believed to get a deal week 1. Say he won't be traded. They said the same thing with Trey Lance. Like I said, Week 1 is next week. I haven't heard anything of them getting the deal done, but both sides believe they'll get the deal done before week 1. Quick Bills talk. Von Miller being on the player unable to perform list to start the season. I think he won't come back until about week 4. DeMar Hamlin makes the roster, of course. Um, how would the Bills look without Von Miller? First Monday night game of the season going against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, national stage. Also without Tremaine Edmonds, Devin Singletary, a couple of new guys at receiver. Well, not a couple, maybe one. Is McKenzie still the slot receiver? But, we'll see. We'll see when the game when it comes out when the game happens. But will James Cook take the next step? I think they also got Damian Harris from the Patriots, excuse me. So it's really gonna see how James Cook's being utilized. Him and Damian Harris out of the backfield. Damian Harris is more of a bigger power type back. So we're just gonna see. If Buffalo doesn't win the AFC East, who do I have winning the AFC East? Now I said that when I was talking to my boy. I don't know if I was on his live or my live. My boy Prescott Kelly chopping it up with P Scott Podcast. Y'all make sure y'all tune in and go check my boy out. But me and him were talking about it, and he asked me the question. I told him Miami. Tua, you have Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Mostert. They added Jalen Ramsey in the offseason, but he's injured right now. But we're gonna see how they fare with him, winning if he comes back. But excuse me, in my opinion, man. Also, the Patriots are not, too shabby either. I did have them lose in the division at the time, but they've also added Juju Smith-Schuster. We're gonna see how adding Zeke also helps them. I think him pass blocking for Mac Jones is gonna be a very good, very win. Now, as far as Zeke, is he gonna be the old Zeke? Is he going back to him? Obviously, it's gonna be hard given the punishment he suffered in Dallas. But yeah, man, we're gonna see. But I have Miami. If Buffalo doesn't win, Miami, I can see the Jets. Really, any team can win that division. It's up for grabs. And it could be a case where everybody, it comes down to the last week of the division. Everybody then beat up on each other and took a game from each other and just see how the seeding falls. So, on to FIBA basketball. I've been looking at FIBA basketball. I caught Eurobasket last year. It really intrigued me. Starting to get into Euro League, trying to learn a couple of the players. European basketball kind of just reminds me of old school NBA basketball, like early 2000s NBA basketball, man. So I really like it. You don't have guys just chugging up 30-foot threes all the time for no reason. So it's more ball movement, more player movement, more strategy, more tactical. I like it. Not to say that the NBA isn't, but I don't know. EuroLeague just, if you're a real basketball fan, then you'll watch EuroLeague, Euro Cup, Eurobasket, FIBA World Cup, and USA loses to Lithuania 104-110. I was watching this game, and Lithuania was just on fire from three. Like, I think they hit their first 9 threes, I think. 8 or 9 threes. And then they only missed, maybe 3-4 threes the whole game. Like, it was just insane. Valanciunas were leading the boys. Brostakis was doing his thing. Valanciunas had 12.7 rebounds. Brostakis also had 11 points. Ant-Man had 35. Brunson and Bridges had 14. And Ingram had 10. But nobody else from Team USA really did anything of spectacular importance. USA Achilles heel the whole tournament has been rebounding. Turnovers and rebounding. Jaren Jackson Jr. kind of got into foul trouble early. It's only 5 fouls in FIBA. So it's really hard. Team USA also gets called for a specific type of travel that's not allowed in the FIBA game. When it comes to the pivot foot, a lot of times in the NBA, they'll let you pick up your pivot foot as long as you're about to dribble the ball. But in FIBA, the ball has to already be on the ground before your pivot foot leaves the ground, per se. And so, Team USA, has a lot of times, they get a lot of turnovers from that. So it's very hard for them to remember that. It is a different brand of basketball. Basketball all in the same, but it's a different brand of basketball. Excuse me. But yeah, a different brand. It's basketball, but it's different all in the same, though. It's still basketball though, but just minor tweaks, minor changes, and stuff like that that they need to fix. But Lithuania, they were big. It's like everybody out there was at least 6'6", 6'7". They maybe had one player that was like 6'3", 6'4", something around those lines. But um, yeah, and they're not eliminated. And I do think they play either Serbia. Do they play Italy? I want to say they play Italy, and then Lithuania play Serbia. But they still move on to the knockout round. They still advance, given the fact that they were undefeated. Lithuania was also undefeated, so Lithuania wins the group, but USA still moves on. But one thing that's gonna have to Team USA is gonna have to do, one, they're gonna have to rebound better, stop fouling so much, and two, what they're gonna have to do is stop getting out to these slow starts. Team USA is so quick and so adept to just turning it on and just coming back at any flip at any moment, like a flip of a switch, drop at a dime. But it didn't work against Lithuania. They started out hot. They only had like 10 points in the first quarter. It was like 23-10, 25-10. They were down 20 points or 21 points in the second quarter. And then they tried to turn it on. They were just fighting an uphill battle from there, bro. It was just extremely hard for them. Ant was doing this thing. Like I said, he had 35, but nobody else really contributed. Bridges, he was hitting timely shots. Cam Johnson hit a shot or two. Ingram did a shot or two. Britt Brunson hit a shot or two. But slow starts. Attack, 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 attack. Stop BSing. Stop playing. Everybody get into what they do. Stop it. Stop with all the isolation basketball. I know it's an isolation league, and we got some great one-on-one scores, but player movement and ball movement, time and time again, has shown in Fiba, it will win you the ultimate prize. No matter how good you are, you can't move faster than the ball. You can't. We have some exceptional athletes, but Tuesday, I'll be up early morning. I want to say the games usually come on around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, 8:45 at the latest. I think the last game usually comes on about 9:15. So I'm definitely gonna be on it. Now, two more FIBA games that we're gonna talk about. Then we're just gonna go ahead and end the show. Canada knocks out USA, probably gravest rival, and one of the teams I feel like was tough that USA was gonna have to match up against, depending on how the seeding was. Canada beat Spain, 85-88. SGA had 30 points, 7 assists. Dylan Brooks, 22 points, 5 rebounds. RJ Barrett, 16 points, 5 rebounds. Willie Hernan Gomez, 25.6 rebounds. And Salty Odama of the Memphis Grizzlies had 20 points for Spain. This was a heck of a game. Now, it was a winner go home game for each team, but I want to say maybe Canada has the most NBA talent on their team besides Team USA. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Neil Alexander Walker, Dylan Brooks, RJ Barrett, Dwight Powell. I think O'Shea Brissett's on the team. Canada. Oh, Lou Dort. They have a plethora of NBA players. So, like I said, Jamal Murray was on the team at one point in time, but I think he decided to sit out due to health concerns after just coming off the NBA season. But yeah, Canada has a lot of players, a lot of NBA players, and they got Shea leading the show. Spain, Spain is not the Spain that we typically know. We also know that the Gasol brothers no longer play for Spain during the Olympics and FIBA and Eurobasket. So, but Spain is still a formidable opponent, and usually USA's top competitor. Now, Germany has been coming to the table this lately. Lithuania today shows that they can hang with the U.S. Montenegro, led by Nikola Vucevic of the Chicago Bulls, showed that they can hang with them in the previous game that they had. But yeah, man, heck of a game. I didn't catch it until the second half because I was watching the USA game. But another game that I was kind of intrigued about was Germany versus Slovenia. I watched Germany last year win the Eurobasket. And they just kind of intrigued me about how they play. They have a couple of NBA players over there as well. Dennis Schroeder, Daniel Tice. They're 2 stars. They also have Franz and Mo Wagner of the Orlando Magic, the 2 Wagner brothers. Wagner. Is it Wagner or Wagner? I hope I'm pronouncing their names right. But yeah. Those 2 young guys, I really like their play. And then Slovenia, of course, Luka. Everybody wants to see what Luka does, regardless of if he has a Mavericks uniform on or a Slovenia uniform on. You want to see what he does. He didn't have the most efficient game. He had 23 points, went 9 of 22 from the field, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Prepelic had 12 points for Slovenia, but Schroeder, 24 points, 10 assists, 8-11 from the field. Daniel Tice, 14 points, 7 rebounds. Franz is injured. I think they say he rolled his ankle in the first game, but his brother Mo stepped up with 10 crucial points. Early in the game, Schroeder and Tice, they were really, really getting into it, and Germany's coach sat them down. Like, I think it was real early in the first quarter, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes had went off the clock. And this is what I like about international basketball, stuff like this. Because if your 2 players argue in the NBA, y'all blow it off. One guy just sits down, and the other guy's still in the game. They just let them play. Germany sat both of their best players. We're down like 12, 13, 14 points. It was like 11 to 20, excuse my language, but or something like that. But as soon as Dennis Schroeder and Tice came back in the game, first of all, they hugged it out. You know, they family, they brothers and stuff. Brothers argue, family argue. That's just a part of being a family, and sometimes you disagree. Tice he had like 3 opportunities at the beginning of the game to just really it's like you could tell Dennis Schroeder wanted this game. And he was trying to bring that hammer, like, he was trying to crush Slovenia. Like, they wanted it. And Tice had he had some mess ups. He was being a little too soft, not finishing, just not making heady plays. And then, they hugged it out. And once Dennis Schroeder got back in that game, when I say Dennis Schroeder took that game over, it's like he scored. Like, when he was in the game, it's like he scored or assisted on all their points. Now, they also had a very long-range guy. I think his name was Bonga. He was a very lengthy dude, probably about 6'9", 6'10". And he was guarding Luka full court. Like, he was pressing. He was bringing Luka that press. You feel me? Like, press. Full court press. It's a press. And then there's a full court press. You feel me? He picked his pocket, just making it difficult. Now, Luka got the best of him a couple times, as Luka does. But, boy, he brought the press. You feel me? The press. So, but this has been your boy, Dolo J. It feels good to be back. Episode 35. Sports Weekend Roundup. I think that's what I might call it. Woke up at 4:45 in the morning to watch sports. Took a small nap in between the middle of the day and woke back up and gave y'all to watch more sports just to give y'all this episode. 36 minutes. I don't think it's been a long time since I had an episode about this long, man. And of course, it's going to be a lot shorter. Deciding on whether or not I want to edit it or not. And plus the effects and stuff I got to put on it. But, yeah, man, this has been your boy Dolo J. Like I said, man, this is the Kicking It Dolo podcast. Y'all know what we do, and y'all know how we do. So without further ado, I'll see y'all next time, man. Peace.
Let's get it. Whoa. Clear out the room, I'm coming through. They wanna see what I'm about.